So how has your undergraduate experience here at Davis helped you get into law school or benefit you because now that you're in law school or
honestly, I feel like specifically my experience with FILAH really helped me. And I say that because one thing that I've really learned in law school is it's all about networking and building your connections and getting to know people. And I feel like specifically the fil-am really helps me, branch out and be the kind of person, like tabling. That's like what you're gonna do, but with yourself. Like, hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. I'm interested in this kind of law, and what do you do? And I felt like it helps me develop those skills, those networking skills. And also I was recently elected onto a PALSA, which is Asian Pacific American Law Student Association, which is like fil-am, but in law school. So I feel like I'm taking a lot of my experience from undergrad and putting it directly into use there. So, yeah.
I guess more of the same thing when you're in the fil-am and you have your classes and you have your other commitments. You really learn how to multitask and get a lot of projects done all at the same time, just be working on things simultaneously. And you really need that skill when you go to law school because you're going to have a ton of classes, and each class has at least 3 to 5 hours of reading a night. And then you gotta, you still have to network. You have to join organizations. You have to do legal clinics. And so you gotta learn how to do all that all at the same time. So I guess being in the fil-am, that helps out because you know how to do those things already. You know how to handle being in your orgs and also taking care of your classes. It's a balance.
Juicy?
How many hours of sleep do you average in law school?
I got enough sleep, I think. I don't know.
I think it's more like how much can you survive on, and then you kind of just go with that. I don't know. My first year, but I think first year is, because I've only just had my first year, it's such a different experience because you are still finding your footing, and it's so different from everything that you've, it's different. It's totally different from undergrad. So, I mean, yeah, for me it was like, how much do I really need to function tomorrow at full capacity? And if you're a nap person, just limit it to like 30 minutes. Because naps, I mean, you go to sleep and then you wake up 3 hours later and you're like, I could have totally been studying for class during that time. So, yeah.
Well, I love sleep, so I never deprive myself of it. But that's just, good scheduling is what you need to be able to get enough sleep. And I think it's important. I don't know. I was the same way during undergrad too. I was not one of those people that stayed up all night all the time to study for tests. I did it a couple times and I hated it. No, I'm like, no, I'm never doing that. So, might be different than.
What inspired you guys to go into law?
Okay. Well, I was super involved when I was in undergrad, and being an ASUCD senator, it just changed my whole perspective of everything. I was sought out to be in Senate by people who were involved, and they thought I would be a good fit. And then once you join ASUCD, it's like you're in a whole nother world, right? It's very different than being in the fil-am is a bubble, you know that. And so when you're outside of it, it's really different. And when you see the kind of impact that you can make if you go outside your bubble and do something bigger than yourself. So I became very involved back in the day when the veterans equity was a big issue, and that really pushed me into wanting to do law, to help people that come from similar backgrounds as me, underrepresented, disadvantaged communities that need people like them, representing them in government and in the legal arena. So that's why I did it.
Well, my dad's a lawyer, and he didn't push me into law school, but I think growing up and seeing, it was crazy because, I'd go out to lunch or dinner with my parents, and random people would come up to my dad or to me even and just they'd always be like, thank you, thank you for what you did, and thank you for, and when I was younger, I was like, that's really weird. But then as I got older, it became really amazing, for me to witness that. And he started off doing public interest, working for a nonprofit in Bakersfield. Then he moved up to a firm, and now he's like on the board of directors for that same nonprofit that he started off at. So he's still got his hands in that, and I think that really influenced me. And also like Janine said, in undergrad, I also tried to get more involved in like the Veterano stuff, and that really pushed me in the direction. And once I finished undergrad, I spent 3 years out of school, and I worked at a law firm, and I kind of like, moved around into different law firms, and just to see if that's something I really wanted, and that's also what pushed me.
Danita, what's one interesting aspect you like about studying law?
I don't know. Some people don't like reading cases because that's basically all you do in law school is read cases. But I found a lot of the cases that I read in my classes were pretty interesting. I don't know, especially like first year torts and crim law. Like you get some interesting cases in there about like murder.
I loved crim law. Yeah. Crim law was my favorite.
The different degrees of murder, what's manslaughter, whether or not someone was under the heat of passion so that they can't get charged with first degree murder. Things like, just, I don't know. If you guys go to law school, you'll get it, and then you get. I think one of the cool things is having all these law jokes that nobody else is going to get, but your classmates. And I don't know. I liked reading. If you're going to go to law school, you really should like to read because that's what you're going to do a lot. So if you don't like reading your books right now, I don't know if law school is for you because law school is like 80% reading, reading cases and analyzing cases. And important to know.
I think I really enjoyed, and it's like something that your professors say to you all the time. It's not enough to just memorize the law and memorize the rule and like regurgitate the rule. It's all about like, how do you apply that rule to the set of facts that you're given? Because your tests and whatever are going to be, or like the essay portions of your exams are going to be fact patterns. And it's like, okay, this rule and this law, and how do you apply that to this fact pattern? And I don't know, I like engaging in it like that, and I also liked reading the cases a lot, but just, yeah, I enjoy that aspect of it, like really having to sit and think and be analytical about it, so, and I loved crim law also. That's interesting, yeah.
Carol?
Can you talk about the process of getting into law school?
What did I do first? Oh, I took some people like swear by it and some people are like, I did it on my own, but I took an LSAT class. And I took a class because while I'm sure I could have done it on my own, it helped me like being accountable to a class. Because when you take a class, you like sit in a room with a bunch of other people who are going to take the LSAT, and someone tells you about like test taking techniques, and then you take a bunch of practice tests together, and I had to be there like X number of times a week, every week, and so that was really helpful for me. I took an LSAT class, and a billion practice LSAT, so many, and then I took my LSAT, and I think it's good to build good connections with professors, because that's where you get your letters of rec, and so, and not just like really obvious, like, hey professor, I'm just trying to get a letter of rec from you, but actually, if there's professors that you really, really like, and I mean, I know that one of the professors that gave me a letter of rec, like, I still email her every once in a while because she's awesome, and I don't even know if she's still teaching here, but Sunaina Myra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love her.
I got a letter of rec from her.
She's the best. Get letters of rec from her. But yeah, and oh my gosh, having a really good essay. Write about something that really means a lot to you, because if it's just obviously like, I'm writing an essay because I've been in law school, I think they can see past that. So, I don't know, do well in your undergrad classes.
Yeah. Yeah, involved in undergrad, and it hindered me being able to get into a good law school. I didn't go to an ABA-approved law school. JFK in Pleasant Hill is an ABA, but it's still certified with WASC and other things, so it's still a good school. But yeah, I took an LSAT class. I took Test Masters. They give it right there at the law school in the summer of it, and it is really helpful because it's good. They give you a schedule, and if you're the type of person who needs a schedule to do things, then take an LSAT class. I think it's harder, especially when you're super involved with orgs and stuff, to find the time to study on your own without taking class. So make sure you get really good score on the LSAT. And so, you know, your LSAT score and your GPA are related when it comes to applying to law school. The lower your GPA is, the higher LSAT score you're going to need. So if you don't want to worry so much about your LSAT, then you should be doing really well in your classes. So I barely had a 3.0 because I was just, you know, for me, when I was in undergrad, school was like totally secondary to me. It was a little stupid, I know, but I still passed the bar exam, so that's that's my saving grace. But yeah, so make sure don't get too caught up with your extracurricular activities. It is good to be involved, but keep your GPA up. If you really, not just in terms of law school, but any kind of graduate school you plan on going to, you're going to need a good GPA. And being involved in a bunch of stuff won't make up for a low GPA. And if you can really focus on the LSAT and get a really good score on that, then you're not going to have any problems getting into law school.
I feel like, personally for me, that I felt like that was kind of like a symptom of being in the fil-am, is like everyone was so involved in fil-am that it was like, class, whatever, you know? But one thing that I always told myself is like, what am I here for? You know, because like I could join fil-am orgs and they don't have to be associated with the school, but only in school can I, like, you know, get a degree. And, you know, if I want to go to grad school, then I have to do well in achieving that degree. So I was like, I mean, obviously I loved fil-am, but I think that was one thing I always had to remind myself. Like, I am here for school, I love the fil-am, but I have to at least do marginally well in my classes, so, yeah.
So good LSAT score, good GPA, letters of rec. So you should be going the professors you like, you should be going to their office hours once in a while and just talking to them about your plans for the future or just things like that. You really got to network. Letters of rec will really make a difference also.
Did you have any role models or mentors?
A lot of my role models during undergrad were professors and administrators on campus. A lot of them probably aren't here anymore. Miem was here when I was, she started like near the end of my time being here. Before that, it was a person named Anita Poon. I was really close to her, the Asian American Studies SAO. She helped out a lot whenever I needed something for any of the orgs I was in. I could go to her. If I needed advice like career trajectory, I could go to her. The Cross Cultural Center, I don't know if he's still there anymore. His name was Stephen Bisa. Yeah, I used to go out to lunch with him, talk to him. Teresa Montemayor, I think she retired recently, but I used to always go to her office, talk to her. Some of the chancellors, like vice chancellors, I don't know if you guys know any of them, but when I was here, I was able to talk to a couple of them. I forget their names now. Gosh, that's stupid. But, huh? Griselda Castro. I really loved her. She used to come out to all our events, and it was just such a big thing to me that a would come out to our events. So I would always talk to her. It's good to be connected to professors and administrators because they can hook you up in the future. And the veteranos were really inspirational to me while I was here.
I guess my heroes and mentors were all like people in Janine's generation because they all had like such big dreams and ambitions, and I mean, look, you know, Janine passed the bar, and my big sib, who none of you will know, his name is Mark Dadios, and
Yoro!
Mark Dadios is my big sib. Of course, Mark Dadios is my big sib, so I and he's wrapping up his first year at Rice.